I might say this is really a royal battle, as it were, because right now what's building up across the United Kingdom is something that even Catherine, the Princess of Wales, could not have foreseen. But this time around, it's a battle between her and the current British Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Sir Keir Starmer. As ever, let me explain. Hi, nice to see you. Welcome back. Thank you so much for your time today. By the way, can I just say, didn't Catherine look beautiful, in my opinion, when she was giving that recent speech? I think she's gone a bit blonder again. Yeah, you girls will know, of course. I just think she looks nice. She's very clever at the way that she gets the right wardrobe, you know what I mean, for the right event. And, you know, people criticise people when they're giving public speaking. But I know from doing it myself, and you might say, well, you do it every day, Neil, you know, but when you have to get up and talk in front of an audience, it's not so about singing or hosting or performing or comedy. But when you're speaking, it's very hard to get the right intonation. And I do really think she's mastered it incredibly well. As you know, a good late friend of mine, Richard Attenborough, was very instrumental in helping, of course, Diana, the Princess of Wales, with her public speaking, because she was very shy and looked through those long lashes, do you remember? And of course she had that. Catherine, it's a different world, so many cameras poised on you, you know, digital media picking over everything, and that's the problem. But of course Catherine's just forging ahead, and that's what I like. And in particular, what's interesting is this particular battle, which is really sort of taking off, and one that I fully support Catherine with. You see, she recently put out a video all about the changing seasons, and it was autumn. Now, for me, the reason why I like these videos is two things, really. It shows the world that we used to have. Do you remember? Do you remember when you'd have those long summer days, chums, on your bike, and you could go off for the whole day, and your mum really didn't know where you were, but you came back for your tea because you knew what time that was going to be, and you know, you went off with your friends and you went down by the river, you went cycling, you just messed around with old tyres on strings and all that. May seem idyllic, but it was true, wasn't it? Or a friend might be making a go-kart in his backyard, and you spend the whole afternoon doing that together. That was the carefree childhood that Catherine really likes, and what she wants to do is get people back to nature. And what she's very clever at is getting people, children, interested in nature. Hence the reason, you know, she's with things like the Scouts, the Brownies, that sort of stuff. She's very much sort of gung-ho in that department. Well, here's where this gets interesting, because as you know, at the start of this year, Keir Starmer, right, well, he decided that all schools were going to have to show this. I mean, not a real life drama at all, just a drama written by someone called Adolescence. Do you remember that? Way back at the start of the year. And Keir liked it so much because of its anti-whiteness and the fact that the message was the exact right message for his voters, if you remember. Well, the bottom line was he insisted that all schools now should show this. They didn't bother. This is the problem with Keir. Nobody takes any notice. He said all schools will show this. Well, the schools weren't really that interested, because consequently kids have either seen it themselves, they stream it on their phone, you know, why would they want to watch it in school time? However, what's been interesting is there's been a huge uptake from schools who are asking if they're allowed to show Catherine's latest video about, you know, working in the woods, making bread, looking at insects, all of that sort of stuff. All the things that we know, for instance, that Prince Louis, Princess Charlotte and George like. You know, as William recently pointed out, they have no phones, they have to entertain themselves. And Catherine, he said, was very good at getting them driven into looking into something else. I think this is a fabulous turnaround, in my opinion, for the fact that, you know, if this was shown, it does give people the opportunity to say, yeah, there is something else out there that could trigger my mind. And again, you can understand exactly why, as we know, Keir Starmer is no fan of the British monarchy. And the bottom line really is, when somebody does this sort of thing effortlessly, without really any publicity, and says, here it is, this is what interests me, suddenly schools are looking and thinking, we have enough problems already with fighting, fallouts and people not getting on. How about unifying people? Unity, inclusion, getting people out and about, looking at things, the sort of school that we remember, schooling should have said that we remember. And this is exactly what Catherine's done. According to sources though, Keir Starmer, as ever, is sulking, as you can imagine. It's a developing story. When I know more, you'll know more. Neil Shaw, Kensington, London.